Hey, are we live? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, listen, guys, welcome to our very first episode, Uncommon Men with Uncommon Mondays. Hey, guys, this is Coach Clavon. I'm very excited, man. We're making history tonight. I want to thank everybody who's chiming in to watch this historical episode and those who are going to watch the rerun and the replay. I mean, this episode will live forever, right? And so it's exciting. And if you are chiming in out there in YouTube channel land, make sure you like, the broadcast and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be so much great content falling into this YouTube channel over the next couple of days and weeks and months. And we're going to be very consistent. And like we say, information is power, right? And applied information is legacy. And if you're happening to watch this through our Facebook page, again, hey, like and share. Come on, let's share the information, guys. Buckle your seatbelts. We're going to have a really, really great conversation tonight. And every episode, you can expect to be empowered. We're going to bring value to you. And when I say we, guys, we'll get right into it, man. Right into it. I want to bring on my partner this evening, a gentleman I have a tremendous amount of respect for. If you're in the industry, if you know anything about our industry of direct sales, network marketing, I like to call it relationship marketing. You know Dan Putnam. He's really a giant in the game. I call him the billionaire maker because he's had his hands in 2 or 3 different companies that have gotten to $1 billion in sales. Hey, man, that's very credible, something to be very respectable, to say the least, because that means he's helped a lot of families. But he's the CEO, visionary leader at Be Epic, and he is the founding visionary of this uncommon movement. So let me bring my partner on, Dan Putnam, so we can get this show started. What's up, Dan?
Not much, Clavon. Thank you so much. Super excited about everything we have in the works, and it's always great to get the first one out of the way. And again, we just have a lot of exciting things to help a lot of people over the next several years, and in my opinion, several decades.
Absolutely. Dan, we're going to just we're just going to have fun tonight. I just want to have a conversation. I was really thinking about how this first episode would go. And I really think I just want to, if you don't mind, ask you a couple questions. See if I can ask you about 5 or 6 questions and these 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, and let the world really understand what this movement is about. But let's start with you, Dan. I mean, I want to just ask you, buddy, like, who's Dan Putnam, right? How was it? I want to ask you, like, how was it, growing up where you grew up? I believe it's Utah. I know I got out there and met your beautiful family. I met your mom, met your dad, met your family. I mean, just amazing people, man. But 2-part question, how was it growing up there? And I'm asking that because how did that transition you into getting into this industry of network marketing, which I know you love so much? Like, what was that process? Could you just give us some insight on your background?
Great question there, Clavon. And I was actually born in Idaho, moved from Idaho to Wyoming when I was in 3rd grade, and grew up pretty much in Wyoming. So I didn't grow up in Utah. I moved to Utah just in 2005. So I did go to college in Utah, but grew up in Wyoming. As soon as I graduated from college, moved back to Wyoming, and then ended up moving to Utah in 2005. So I've been here for quite a while. But Wyoming and Utah are neighbors, so it's maybe somewhat similar. Actually, Wyoming is a quite unique state. If you've ever been there, I'm not sure if you have, but I grew up in very small towns, so I'm not a city person. I'm I guess a perfect example of what you'd call a country boy. Was born in Boise, Idaho, but before I even remember, moved to a very small town in Idaho called Salmon, Idaho. I think there's around 2,000 or 3,000 people in that town. And then we moved from there to Rock Springs, Wyoming, which I thought was a big city at about 20,000 people. And again, in the entire state of Wyoming, there's around 500,000 people in the state. So there are no cities in Wyoming. The biggest town is around 50,000 people. And that, I think, goes back and forth between Cheyenne and Casper. But really, nothing growing up would have ever made me think about network marketing. My entire childhood was pretty much around sports, all kinds of sports. Loved American football. I still do my entire life. Really became a big fan in late grade school through junior high and high school of ice hockey. That kind of became a love. Also really liked wrestling. And so really that was my goal. My goal was to do something in sports, and that's kind of, I didn't have a big plan B. I went to college and played sports in a college, and realized fairly early on that, I'm probably not going to go at a professional level. There's a lot of people that are very good, and it's just something that I don't think that, I guess, who knows, if I would have made different choices, you never know. I wouldn't say that it would have been impossible for me, but I didn't make the choices. I didn't put in the work that's necessary. But I was introduced to network marketing my freshman year of college. And believe it or not, Clavon, I'd never heard of it. I didn't know that it existed. I had no idea anything about it. My parents were in the furniture business, not from my youngest age, but through probably junior high and high school, they were in the furniture business. They did some other things before that. And so I worked at the furniture store doing different things, but I was a big fan. I've always had, I wouldn't say like massive problem sleeping, but just kind of one that likes to think and try and figure out something. I've always been super strategic, whether it was trying to figure out, something for sports or a training regimen or, anything like that. I was always thinking pretty much nonstop. So in order for me to kind of slow my mind down and go to sleep, I would always listen to something. And what I really liked to listen to was like Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, Brian Tracy, and really just love those stories and love the concepts that they talked about. And so I guess I was a big fan of personal development, just listening to it. And maybe that's something that kind of drew me a little bit to being business minded. But really growing up, I never had the thought of starting a business. I never had the thought of being in business. I always just had the thought of competing and things like that. So I really think that a lot of those things go hand in hand, and is really was a great training for the network marketing industry. But again, growing up, I wouldn't say that there was anything that drew me to network marketing. I wasn't in a network marketing family. I never asked directly, but I don't think my parents were ever involved in network marketing. If they were, they never acted like it. You know what I mean? They were never actively building. So I had never heard of network marketing until my freshman year of college.
Got it. Dan, I got some insight on your story, and I know you're one of the special ones, bro, because you made multiple seven figures. I guess like in maybe your first season of the game, whether it was in your first 3 to 5 to 10 years, whatever. You can elaborate on that if you like to. But I share that one thing with you was that the personal growth and development led me into the industry as well. I think for me, that's where the really value is. We used to say it was, personal growth and development with a compensation plan. Would you say that personal growth and development is where you still see the value in the industry? And then I want you to kind of piggyback, and we're going to take a quantum leap up until now.
Yeah.
And jump right into like all that experience and how your story starts. How did we get to Uncommon? How did we get to the Uncommon movement? If you can just kind of elaborate there.
Yeah, great questions. I did not start off with success, Clavon. I started off with a ton of failure. I had big hopes. I had big dreams. I heard the story like a lot of people. I saw the circles on the board. I heard about the money that could be made. And I went out thinking that this was going to be very easy for me. I knew a lot of people. I thought everybody that I knew would be interested. Starting with my family. I'm the youngest of 5. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, plus my parents, all of them very entrepreneurial. So I thought, man, they're all going to want to do it. Everybody's going to want to do it. Who's not going to? And so when I sat at that first meeting, Clavon, what bounced out to me was the ability to start your own business and work off of somebody else's infrastructure So you don't have any of the headache of infrastructure, but you have the ability to create unlimited leverage, leverage unlike any other business in the world. And so to me, I thought, man, who in the world wouldn't do this? I mean, really, there's no expense. The expense is buying products that you're going to use anyways, period. And the company takes care of everything for you. And then you have the ability to create leverage unlike anything that I had ever seen. And again, I knew traditional business, that's all. And I knew the headaches. My parents had 2 or 3 different furniture stores. And there's always problems, always. Even though they did fairly well, you're still missing out on a lot of things because something breaks down. You have to hire somebody, all of those different types of things. But I thought that, man, this is something that nobody puts a limit except for yourself. Right. There's unlimited income available. You don't have to interview. You don't have to fill out a resume. You don't have to have a college degree. And I thought, man, this is really the best thing out there. And so as soon as I started talking first with my family, that's when I heard pyramid scheme, this, that. Oh, you don't want to do those. And I thought, man, why wouldn't you want to do it? It makes so much sense. There's no risk. You're just buying products that you'd use anyways and sharing it with other people. So I become extremely frustrated. But like I said, I am very competitive. I do not like to lose. If there's something that I don't think I can be very good at, I usually don't still keep doing that. You know what I mean? I don't like to lose no matter what it is that I do. And so if there's a lot of people that are way better than me, I just like, okay, I'll let them be good at that. I'll find something else. And I'm not a quitter, but I hate to lose. And when I wasn't having success, it made me very frustrated, but it also made me want to figure things out even more.
Got it.
And so I just kept on talking and asking people, and the frustration became that I 100%, in all honesty, the only thing that I could see is that it's just luck. Because people would say, oh, do this, and I would do it and didn't have success. Oh, do this, I do it and didn't have success. Oh, do this. But becoming more mature, learning a little bit more about the industry, I figured out that there's definitely some luck involved. Okay. But it's not all luck. And I also believe that we can create our own luck. The harder we work, the more opportunity that we have to create luck. And so even if it's just completely a lucky break, you can create your own lucky breaks through just a lot of work. But the first thing that I noticed, Clavon, was you had to be able to separate networking and marketing and realize that they're 2 different things. The reason I was failing is people were only teaching me networking. Networking is a skill set that not everybody has. Right. Networking is what I would define as working with people face to face, talking to friends, talking to family, 3-foot rule, striking up conversations with strangers, all things that I'm not comfortable with. I would say I'm a more introverted person. I'm not super outgoing. I'm not the life of a party. I like to joke with my friends and stuff like that. But really, I'm a pretty quiet person. I kind of keep to myself. And so the networking is not me. And even though I was willing to try it, and I was willing to strike up conversations with complete strangers and do things like that, and I did sign people up that way, I wasn't able to duplicate that way. Then I realized there's a whole other avenue to this business, and that's marketing. And here's where it really got interesting, Clavon, as I realized that you don't have to be a good marketer because of all the leverage that's possible.
I hope they're catching it.
So you can be a fairly, what I would say, horrible marketer and make millions of dollars by duplicating other horrible marketers. People have the tendency to make this business so difficult because they don't understand how to separate networking and marketing. And they don't realize how bad of a marketer you can be and make millions and millions of dollars in this industry. And I'll give you a quick example, and then I'll jump ahead to this uncommon movement. If you're able to just make one sell, and I don't care the amount, let's say a $25 product. If he was able to make one $25 sell per month, and that's it, one per month, that is not good. A great marketer, if you look at the great marketers like a Russell Brunson or some of those types of people, they make hundreds to thousands of sales per day.
Right.
Even people with big ticket items are usually making sales every day or every week. And we're talking about $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 sales.
Right.
Making one $20 sale per month and actually trying is kind of pathetic if you think about it. But if you realize that if I was able to duplicate that in 1 year, I have an organization of over 8,000, about 8,200 people. In 2 years, over 167,000 people. In 2.5 years, 10 million people. In 3 years, 640 million people. And in less than 40 months, the entire world's population. By duplicating horrible marketing. So when I realized that, I started to break things down and figure out, okay, what has to happen in order to succeed? I started to see light at the end of the tunnel. And this is literally like a 3.5 year transition of actually working every day and trying to build a business for the entire time and not having very much success. Having some, not saying none, but not very much. I was still making probably on average less than $1,000 a month after 3.5 years.
Wow.
And then I was able to jump up very quick in less than a year to 10, 15, 20,000 per week. And a lot of it was understanding, creating stronger systems, and more important than anything, better onboarding. So when I brought somebody in, making sure that they had an exact, clear understanding of what this business was and what to expect. Yeah. So often the reason that people quit is they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They just think, well, geez, this isn't working. So if I just keep doing the same thing, because nobody's telling them any different. So in their mind, if I just keep doing the same thing, I'm not going to have any success. I've already tried it. Some people have been trying it for decades, decade after decade after decade, meaning they're consistent, they're committed, they're disciplined. They're just consistently doing the wrong things, and nobody's really broke it down and taught them what this business is all about. And so now I'll fast forward to the uncommon movement. I got started when I was 18. Things that I learned completely changed my life. I've never had to go work for anybody. I've been able to, bring in tens and tens of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in sales. It helped make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in profit, paid out billions of dollars in commissions. And so the reason I am actually more excited right now than I've ever been, I've been doing this for over 30 years. So when I got started was February of 1993. So February of this year was 30 years. So getting close to 31 years that I've been doing this. I've never been more excited. Wow. Now, again, I get to the point of burnout and frustration, and I still get frustrated on a daily basis. But I see the industry failing, and to me, that's exciting. I think it should have failed a long time ago, because I think that the models in most companies are absolutely pathetic. I would say it to any owner to their face. And I would challenge them, and I'd ask them, if this business is about two things, which I think everybody would agree, it's duplication and retention, why did you create the model that you created? I've asked at least 20, 30 owners of big companies that. The answers are pathetic. They don't even have an answer, because they didn't create anything based on duplication and retention. 99% of them have never been a distributor. The ones that have, again, I'm not saying everybody. So, and again, this is my opinion. This isn't anything. Most of the people that have been successful in this industry did it by luck. And again, that's fine, but it's very difficult to repeat. And that's why you see so many people in network marketing struggling. I mean, think of it, Clavon. How many people do you know that made millions, tens of millions of dollars in MLM, and right now in 2023, almost 2024, are dead broke and going from company to company to company, trying to work out deals with the company because they're so great, but yet they all need deals.
Right.
When I went to company owners, you want to know the deal that I gave them? I said, if you put this together, I'll fund everything. I didn't ask for them to give me a penny. I didn't say, hey, I've built organizations of hundreds of thousands of people. I've made tens of millions of dollars in commissions. So you need to pay me to join your company. You know how many people come to me that want paid? Almost every single distributor. Because of how good they are, because of how great they are. And again, I'm not taking anything away from anybody. There's a lot of people that are way better than me. But when I went to a company owner and I wanted to tell them how great I was, I said, I'll fund all of it. What I was after was a better duplication and retention model.
Right.
And I had the confidence that I'll put up my own money. But that's off subject a little bit. I apologize about that, Clavon. But the whole concept of uncommon and the uncommon movement is I think what I've learned over the last 31 years can help a lot of people. I think right now there's a need for that knowledge. There's a need for that. Like, you know, the number one cause of death in kids under the age of 25?
What's that?
Suicide. Why do you think they're killing themselves?
I don't know.
Why would anybody kill themselves?
Depression, lack of
hope.
No hope. Yep.
If you have just a glimpse of hope, you don't kill yourself.
That's a fact.
So they've basically lost all hope, even if it's temporary. They've lost all hope that they don't think that there's any way out. And the things that are going on in the world, in my opinion, are disgraceful. The fact of what we allow the government to do, 100, 200 years ago, there have already been revolutions. But everybody's just so weak and just so pathetic. And again, I don't mean to say that, but I just don't know any better words. But for the things that people have to do, when you have the last 3 women of the years were men, when you have men breaking all of the athletic records in women's sports, when somebody decides if they're a boy or girl, I don't want to get political on this, but come on, that's a problem.
You're saying what everybody's thinking. And before you continue, Dan, I just want to say that where you were going, as far as your approach to those companies, I just want to put a little footnote in that really wasn't off topic, because I think we need leadership today more than ever. And that shows how much confidence you had in your system. And the reason why so many people are failing in life and failing in our industry is because there isn't a profound system with accountability. So you go to these companies and say, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll put the money up. That's confidence. That's you knew that you knew that you knew. I want to make that point because here we are now with a platform, and people want to be careful who they follow. And they want to follow people who have confidence and they know what they're doing. So that was an example of that. You've been carrying that posture for a long time. But yeah, now here we are. We're at Uncommon because the world is in this crazy place.
Yeah.
The youth is empty. And so passing it back to you. Yeah.
So just the basic concept of the Uncommon movement. It's a movement for males. And not that we don't love the females and the women of the world, but they seem a little bit better at putting together women's movements and women empowerment and those types of things than than a lot of times we are as men. And so they're already doing these things, and they're doing a great job of it, and they'll always do a great job of it. Women are so powerful, smart and things like that. And where the women come in with the uncommon movement is they have sons and significant others and brothers and all of those types of things. But we're specifically working with males 16 and up, and there's one goal, and that goal is to help them be successful in life and move them to the top 1%. We focus on 5 categories. So we focus on health and nutrition being one. We focus on finances and specifically residual income. We focus on personal development, accountability. And in my opinion, those are the things that it takes to become successful. I think that finances and health are both extremely important. I wouldn't say that somebody who has unlimited finances but doesn't have their health would be the type of success that we would want. And I also wouldn't say that somebody's very healthy but they have no money would be the type of success that people want. I think that you want your health and money. That if people were going to vote, I think they would all vote for that, 100%. And so, but I think every successful person should give back. So that's the 5th thing that we focus on and teach.
Okay. So let me double dutch and jump in there for a second, Dan. So you say uncommon, a movement for males 16 and above. First time I heard it, I loved it. Men's empowerment, national global brotherhood, support. And I love the focus, health first, financial freedom. We all want freedom. We all want to get money as an issue out of the way. And the value of this industry, right? Personal growth and development.
Yeah.
What value are we becoming? What value are we bringing? And I love the cultural idea of accountability, because that's what we really need.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, before I get to the giving back, I want to pivot somewhere really strong, because I think we all love the industry from a perspective of so many good products and services that add value to people's lives, right? But here we are. Let's get right to it. 4 months ago, if you asked me what was AI, I would have been thinking iRobot or the Terminator movie. And I couldn't go any further than that, right? So now I feel very fancy, because I'm thinking, okay, AI is the greatest personal assistant you could ever have in life. That knows everything, that can serve your every need, as it pertains to students, as it pertains to entrepreneurs, everyday folks. And I heard something the other day that I thought was compelling, that, really what AI is from a programming perspective, and I'm going to pass it to you, correct me if I'm wrong, it's really like a learning and information algorithm. And when that algorithm is connected with data, it continues to grow, like a tree growing more branches and more leaves.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. So I want you to talk about how this marriage took place. Uncommon, a campaign, a therapeutic movement that is not going to be stopped. It's going to make history with AI technology, this idea of monetizing AI through this uncommon movement. Can you talk about that marriage and how excited you are and how powerful that is? And then kind of we'll go into like the monetization of it, but just talk about that, how big this is.
Yeah, for sure. Really, before I get into that, I just want to explain that the game plan of how we help people become wealthy is kind of twofold. If you really look, most people that have created massive success have had some type of mentor, some person that's helped them along the way, some roadmap to follow. If they've created it all on their own, I guarantee you it's taken a lot longer, it's cost a lot more money, and it's taken it's been a lot more difficult process. So if you've had somebody that's already done it, they can help lead you away from a lot of the problems, a lot of the things that don't work. It's going to happen faster, and it's going to be more repeatable. So when we're putting something together for the success of males 16 and up, the first thing we're doing is mentorship and an exact proven system. The thing we're adding to that is AI, and let me explain why. I'm almost 50 years old, so I'm going to turn 50 years old March 28th of 2024. So I'm going on my last 4 months in my 40s. I probably could get by with what I have built and things like that with never doing anything with AI. In all reality, a lot of people might be able to, but if I go back in 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, they're going to have to learn AI. The same as we had to learn the computer and the cell phones and social media and those types of things. And if we didn't in business, we're going to be left behind. In business, if you don't already have all of your money, if you don't have enough money to retire, and you're still in the competitive workforce, you better learn AI. And it's not only for business. It's also, I look at it as for anything in life. Any questions you have, anything that you want to learn. Like if you want to learn to do anything and you want to learn it faster and better than any other way, use AI. And again, I think that it's going to be something that once people start using it, they'll use it for almost every question that they have. Right now, think of all the times you type in Google to find something out. In 1, 2, 3 years, that's going to be a thing of the past. You still might use Google, but Google's going to be using AI. Do you know what I mean? So all of that's already changing, and students are going to learn so much faster. So I remember I have 2 children. Both of them have graduated college, so they're both adults. But I remember when they were in high school, and I was very good in math, Clavon. I was kind of a numbers person, and I did well. But I remember them asking me basic algebra questions I didn't recall at all. Right. And in high school, I knew it very well, maybe even in college. But, take me out of those places for more than 30 years, I don't remember any of it. And like, man, I have no idea. So I'm having to go online, find some software programs that I can enter in an equation and it'll explain how I come up with the answer. So just think of having an assistant as a parent or as the student themselves that not only knows every single math equation, but can explain it to you perfectly for you to learn it.
Wow.
We're not trying to get people to learn AI to cheat. We're trying to get them to learn AI to learn better than any teacher could possibly teach them. Because a teacher is teaching an entire class of students. There is no way they could get a lesson done if they answered every single person's question. And you always have the difficulty of the very smart kids being bored and the ones that are struggling, not that they're not smart, but they're struggling with the concept, not understanding it. So if you keep explaining it to get the ones that don't understand it to understand it, then all the other ones are bored. But now all of a sudden, you don't have to go find a tutor and pay them, $50 or $100 an hour. And all of those in every subject and things like that. You get your kids AI, and now it's read every book. It knows every English literature. It knows, how to write, all the different writing styles, how to cite everything. It knows every math equation. It knows every language. And then it can teach you in the way that you need to learn. And so think about it.
Yeah.
What we're doing is creating an AI product that doesn't exist right now. Nothing like ChatGPT. Do we use ChatGPT? For some things, yes, we do. But we also use ChatGPT 3.5, 4, Claude 2.0, Blard, many other things. So it's kind of like having every one of the AIs in one roof, but then also having a bunch of proprietary software that nobody else in the world has, that we created ourselves. And so for a student, it could be a tutor. For a business owner, it could be a social media developer, a marketing agency, a content creator. It can be almost anything that you build you out your business plan, build out all of your advertising. It can be almost anything that you want. I just saw something today. I think I sent it to you, Clavon, on Instagram from Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
And he was talking about one of the things that he loves to do is anything that he sees that pops and starts becoming more and more popular, he uses AI to figure out where did that come from? Who made that popular? And then start to learn how to identify these trends so that you can jump on them quicker. And then also, one of my favorite concepts in success is the concept that success leaves clues.
Yes.
So if somebody uses a certain technique to make something absolutely blow up, he happened to be talking about corduroy hats making a comeback.
Hmm.
And he's like, well, why are corduroy hats making a comeback? And who decided that they're making a comeback? Is it some influencer on TikTok? Is it some actor? Is it some, fashion model? Or is it just a company that decided it? So you go do the research and try and find out what made that hit, what made that pop. And let's say you have a product, you have something that you want to pop. Guess what? Now all of a sudden you just got a whole bunch of clues.
Right.
And you can do that on every business on the planet using AI. There's some people that I follow on TikTok and on Instagram, and all they do is break down successful businesses and tell you how you could duplicate that exact business in less than a couple hours
Wow.
using AI.
It's amazing.
From the website to where they get the product to who does the drop shipping to everything that you can possibly imagine, the exact marketing strategies that they're using. And guess what? Do you think that the general public really cares that much about the person behind it? Most of them don't even know the person behind it. So if you were the one behind it, or I was the one behind it, but we were doing the exact same thing on social media, meaning they're seeing influencers, they're not necessarily seeing you and me. They're seeing other people. They're seeing ads. They're seeing these. It doesn't matter if it's your ad or my ad. If it's the same type of ad to the same type of audience, you're going to get the same type of sales.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just basic business strategies that now are easier than ever to again, I used to always call one of the things we used to always joke about, but it's probably what's created more success than anything for me. And we call it R&D. And some people say, okay, research and development. Yeah, that's part of it, but rob and duplicate. I mean, that's basically what business is all about.
Let me ask you this, Dan. I want you to stay right there, but I want you to kind of give a comparison from a business, perspective, business mastermind, using AI as a product. I'm hearing you guys. How could you not?
Yeah.
If you want to make money, if you want to stay competitive, if you want to supersede your expectations, students, business people. Okay. And now let me ask you about, because I'm looking at our time, and I want to make sure you get to this point as well. The flip side is subscription-based business.
Yeah.
The flip side is the ability to now put this product out into the market all over the world, a digital product that's global. And you look at the uncommon, individuals, leadership, anybody watching this podcast, you're so passionate then about how this could change anyone's life as a product, but how can it change people's lives when you think about a subscription-based product and the idea of leverage and residual income? Can you just talk about that briefly before we get ready to kind of move on and close out?
Yeah. So Clavon, to make money, there has to be the movement of a product or a service.
Period.
And so if we're creating a way for people to take control of their finances, there has to be a product or a service that they're going to move. And so when you look at that, you want to find trends. It's much easier to find a trend and jump in on that trend than it is to create a new trend on your own. I don't think that there is anything that has been hotter in any of our lifetimes than AI.
Hmm.
Something that's more disruptive than
Hmm.
AI.
Wow.
Something that has people excited and scared to death at the same time.
Hmm.
And so if you look at ChatGPT, it's not even that old. They have 100 million users per week.
Wow.
If you look at companies like Copy.ai, 10 million paid users in just over a year's time. And Jasper and all of these companies have raised billions and billions of dollars. Why? Because it is a massive, massive trend. And so what we wanted to do is put everybody in the world, if we want to be able to show people how to make money, we need to be able to place them in front of a massive trend and show them how to monetize it.
Let's go.
Because here's the thing, if you have all of these other companies, you can't monetize them. I mean, can you still make money with AI? Of course you can, but you have to come up with all the ideas. You have to come up with the money. You have to fund it all. You use AI kind of as your business partner to help give you the ideas, to help do the research, to help do all of that stuff. It's absolutely incredible for that. But we're going to teach people how to do it. So if somebody has an absolute passion, we can show them how to turn that passion into money using AI, but at the same time, we're going to show them how to monetize the AI. So even if they just become passionate about helping people and showing people anything that's brand new, it's always exciting to teach people about
Right.
and to kind of feel like you know something that they don't and show them, and you know they're going to love it. Have you ever seen a movie that you just loved and you were almost more excited to go tell people about it because you knew they were going to love it also? And so it's like, oh man, you got to see this movie.
Right.
You didn't make anything for that, but why was you so excited? Because you knew they were going to like it and you knew how much you liked it.
Right.
And so when you have something that you know is going to impact their lives, change their lives, and those, you're excited to share it with them and show them how to do it. So just think of every single student that is struggling right now. If you knew how AI could take away those frustrations,
Mm.
again, the number one killer in kids is suicide.
No hope.
How do they feel when they're struggling in school and they can't pass the tests and they can't keep up with the class and they can't do any of those things? They feel like a loser. They feel like there's something wrong with them. AI can make those changes because it has the patience, it has the knowledge. The teachers may not have the patience or the time or the knowledge. So AI is life changing.
Hmm.
And what we're going to do is bring the hope and show people that as a human being, we are capable of absolutely incredible things. And this is our chance to show what we're capable of.
Hmm.
And so we want to give people the opportunity to not only live a life that they love, but something that they can be proud of. Think about that. How many people do you think are truly proud of their life, what they've accomplished?
The number should be way higher.
Yeah, of course it should. And again, I don't like to get political or religious or anything like that, but my personal belief is that we all are given this life as a gift, and we wanted it to show what we were capable of. So even if you don't have these beliefs, if you just bear with me for 1 second, and for the last thousands of years, we were somewhere, and we were up there thinking and saying, man, just give me my shot. Let me show you what I can do.
Right.
And now we have that shot, and how are we doing?
Right.
There's almost 8 billion people in the world. Almost every single one of them is struggling. Life is difficult, and here's why. There's too much freedom. People don't know what to do. There's too many decisions to make every single day. You don't know if it's right. You don't know if it's wrong. I like to use the example of of a McDonald's franchise, one of the most successful franchises, maybe the most successful franchise in the history of the world. Almost 100% success rate. And how does that run? It runs by forcing people to follow an exact system that's proven.
Mm-hmm.
Look at traditional business.
Mm-hmm.
If you round up, almost 100% failure rate.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Too much freedom. They don't have that exact proven system.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, let me put that in perspective for our viewers, and then Pat, give it right back to you, because that was one of my next questions. You mentioned that about 15 minutes ago, the stigma of our industry with this idea of pyramid schemes, and as if building distribution, there was something wrong with that.
Yeah.
So we all know every state has an attorney general, and they say a pyramid scheme is when you're recruiting and exchanging money without a valuable or viable product or service being rendered. But I wanted to just let everyone know you're talking now about systems, and we happen to have with Uncommon this system of a two, the power of two. And I just wanted to have you kind of just go a little deeper in this idea of what our responsibility is to create leverage by building a duplicatable system, and why that's the key element of the Uncommon movement. And again, why it can't be compromised. Just like you can't do it your own way at McDonald's or they'll take your franchise. So I just want to make sure you put it in the perspective of our system, which is two get two, and why that's so powerful, and why it's the key to leverage and freedom.
Well, the bottom line with any system, it has to be complete. And it starts with a launch. So any business starts with a launch. And so in order to start your business with a launch, that launch has to be defined exactly. You have to know exactly what does it mean to launch and exactly how do I launch. And then after the launch, then you see, okay, I launched the business. What's the next step? The next step is understanding the formula of duplication and the way that you retain people in the business, putting together an exact daily plan of action that involves those steps. And if people have that, there is virtually no way that they fail if they follow the system. So I would say that the exact system that we have, the basic foundation of it, I created in 1995, and a couple things have changed in how the marketing is done, but the fundamentals are exactly the same and will always be exactly the same. There'll be more ways to go through them and different strategies to achieve them, but it's always going to be the same. You have to launch the business. You have to build a list, cultivate a list, present to that list. You have to do certain things to have your best chance of retention. And so in order for people to have an exact system, all of that has to be defined. Right. I think that you could go to 10,000 distributors before you find one that has all of that defined. And if you find that one that does, I almost guarantee you that if he's been in the industry for at least 5 years, that he's already successful. If he's been in 10 years, he's already made millions to tens of millions of dollars. And if they don't have any of that, what I would say to their face is most of the success they've had was luck. Now, can you create your own luck? I would say, yes, you can. But a lot of times it catches up to you, and you don't have very much control over how long it takes to create success when you're counting on luck.
Right.
And so it might take 1 year, it might take 1 month, it might take a decade. Who knows how long it'll take. But here's the thing that I know. In everything that is very difficult, results take time to measure. Mm-hmm. Most things that are easy, you get instant results. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like You do it, you get a result. That's much easier than I do it and 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 do it. And then maybe get a little bit of a result.
Right.
That's very difficult.
Right.
That's why weight loss is so difficult, because the results take time to measure.
Right.
That's why building this type of business is so difficult, because results take time to measure.
Right.
And people just start thinking, oh, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. But most of them don't even have any type of system. It's complete madness. It's like, if I asked most people, what are you doing that makes you think that you could possibly be successful? I would like to get their answers. Why in the world would you think you'd be successful doing what you're doing? Something that I heard the other day, Clavon, that I love. And it was one of the guys that we're partnered with here with the Uncommon movement, and is helping us with a lot of amazing gear. Rich Eggett with Rockwell Watches.
Right.
And he is a big wrestling fan. I am also. And he's talking about Dave Schultz.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you see somebody make a lot of money or do something, a lot of times you say, oh man, he's lucky. Or you see an athlete that's just amazing, and you say, oh, he's got a lot of God-given talent. Have you heard those things?
Of course.
And so Dave Schultz, being one of the best wrestlers in the history of wrestling, do you think some people thought that, oh man, he's got a lot of God-given talent?
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. He said, those are the words that men that have never tried very hard use, so they don't feel so bad about themselves.
Right. I love it.
And I just love that comment, that those are the words that men that have never tried very hard use. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When people start complaining about all this stuff and blah, 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 or this or that, or, customer service did this, or this person did this, or my upline did this, or my blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I look at, those are the words, or those are the actions that people use that are never very successful, to make themselves feel better about not being very successful.
So Dan, that leads me to a very important question, as we're about six minutes from home. And if I was listening to this, I would say to myself, well, wow, I see the leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership and the credibility, the vision, the movement, the game plan. This Uncommon phenom is real. It's powerful. I understand what's going on with the AI. Systems are everything. So I want to ask you, Dan, 2024 is right upon us.
Yeah.
What do you see? I know 1 million subscribers is pretty documented as the vision.
Yeah.
What do you see for Uncommon, AI, the leadership, people who take action, 2024, just a 1 year projection? I want you to share that.
I think if we do a good job, we can bring on 1 million paid users monthly. And that's really what the goal is. I've had that goal for a long time. There's 8 billion people in the world. And I'm like, man, I want to create something that we can get at least 1 million monthly users that just love the product and what they're getting out of it. If it takes longer, will I be frustrated? No. I'm in this for the long run. I love seeing the results, Clavon, but I'm going to do the same thing day in and day out, whether we have 1 million people at the end of 2024, we have 500 people at the end of 2024, because I know without a doubt, zero doubts, that this is going to be successful and it's going to help a lot of people. Awesome. And so, again, the numbers for me, I'm not that person that is like, hey, this is the next $1 billion company, blah, 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 blah. We have to bring a lot of value in order to make that happen. So what I'm going to focus on more than the 1 million people is what does a company have to look like? how much value do we have to bring to the marketplace to attract 1 million people?
Hmm.
And instead of focusing on the million, I'm going to focus on the value that has to be created to attract that amount of people, and just day in and day out, more value, more value, more value. And then I feel very confident that the result of that will be the million people. And
Awesome.
again, if we're doing this call, November of 2024, and we have less than a million, am I, going to be ready to give up? No, not at all.
Yeah.
I will be disappointed because I really think that it's possible.
Yeah.
But again, I for sure won't be slowing down. We have a long road ahead of us.
That's right.
There's a lot of people that are have a very negative mindset. There's a lot of people that don't believe in themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a sad thing. When I look at it, I think one of the saddest things in the world is an adult human being that no longer believes in himself,
Right.
that's accepted where he's at. I always tell people, as long as you haven't accepted it, you're still in the game.
That's right.
A lot of people have accepted it.
That's right.
They've just accepted that, okay, my life is just going to be this. It's more survival than living.
Right.
Um,
I'm with you.
so it's going to be hard because of people's mindsets.
Yep.
It's going to be hard because of people's doubts.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard because of people's just tendency to live in the past and to want to watch somebody else do it before they even attempt, and don't want to take the responsibility of success or failure, because then it's them. I'll take 100% responsibility of the success or failure of any company that I participate in.
That's right.
If it fails, it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Period. When something goes wrong in the company, I'm going to take responsibility for it. Because again, even when things are out of your control, it doesn't matter. Somebody's got to take responsibility.
Right.
And there's been things that have happened to me in my life that are very frustrating, business partners, things like that. Hey, I don't care. People do the right thing, they do the wrong thing. I don't have control over that. I have control over one thing. I have control over my actions and my response. I guess it's more than one, but my actions of what I do and my responses to what other people do. Those are the things that I control. If I focus on my life, on things that I control,
Mm-hmm.
then I like my chances of success. If I focus on things that I have no control over, I do not know how I would be successful.
Exactly. Hey, Dan, that was very powerful. This has been an amazing broadcast. I do want to close out on a very positive note with one final question. And I think we can be really proud of this first podcast episode. I mean, you really brought it. I'm looking at the comments from people all over the country, and they're fired up and excited. People are interested, and they want more information. And I just love it, man. This is so exciting. And I want everyone to know, guys, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe, because we're going to be bringing a tremendous amount of value. And if you're on Facebook, again, like and share the broadcast to people in your network. Information is power. Applied information is legacy. And Dan, I want to ask you one final question, brother, and then we're going to close out strong. And it is again about the Uncommon Foundation. I know everyone heard you say health is number one. Financial literacy, financial freedom is right there. Personal growth and development is a must. Men have to be held accountable. No nonsense, no playing around. We're very serious about this. But there's one thing I want you to close out with, which represents the heart that I think you have, the leadership and the real vision you have. And I don't hear a lot of leaders talking about giving back and why that's so important to every movement and why that's the essence of our culture, and
Yeah.
why that's the foundation of everything that you do. And I know how much it means to you, partner. So if you can just talk about what that means to you, giving back to the community, giving back once you've achieved a certain amount of success, and why that's the foundation of the Uncommon movement, I think they'd be very happy to hear about that.
Yeah. And so here's the way I look at it. No matter what company I ever put together, the goal is I realize one thing: change only happens through opportunity. So if somebody wants to make change in their life, they can't just snap their fingers and everything changes. Opportunity has to be present for that change to happen. So my goal is to be able to provide an opportunity for those people that are down on their knees praying that they know something has to change. I'm going to provide the opportunity that can facilitate that change in their life. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me going when I'm frustrated. That's what keeps me waking up every morning and doing things that in reality I don't necessarily need to do. I do all of this for one reason, Clavon. I want to do it. That's why I'm on this podcast, is because I want to help as many people as I can. No matter what company I put together, most of the people in the world are never going to hear about it, ever. And so they're not going to have the opportunity to have that change. But if we do bring on tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and we have a core value of everybody giving back, we're going to affect so many more lives of people that have never heard of the Uncommon movement than the people that are hearing about the Uncommon movement. As I said, almost 8 billion people in the world, almost every one of them is struggling. Almost 100%. Everybody needs help. Even the people that don't need help appreciate the help. And so I think having that a common principle, teaching it, posting it. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, that's bragging. That's this, that's that. Why don't you do that and not post it on social media? Well, you don't post everything you do on social media. I agree with that. But when you're helping people, it's important to post it for the sole purpose that other people might see what you did, and it gives them the idea to do the same thing.
Right.
And so we want to be very loud about helping people, not to brag, to show people all the opportunities out there to help people. I see all the time somebody do something. I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. That's awesome. I would love to do that. I'd love to help somebody in that way. And so that's why we want to make it a core value. I have hats and shirts and have for many years that say, get rich, give back. With Be Epic, we have Epic Acts of Kindness. Every event that we do a community act. We do something to give back to the people in the communities that we're visiting. And I just think it's important. And I think it's what life's about. Life's about winning. Life is about overcoming struggles. It is not about the struggle. It's about overcoming the struggle and the type of person that helps you become. And then it's about being an example to show people how to overcome those same struggles much faster and easier than you did. The best way to learn, Clavon, is not through your own experience. It's through other people's experience. That's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
And so basically, that's really what it's about. There's far too many people struggling and not enough people helping. And we're not talking about just giving everything and doing that. But again, there's a lot of people in need that aren't in the position to do. They need that helping hand, and so we want to be ones that are out there looking for people that need help and helping them. And so I just think it's important. I think it's what life's about.
Awesome. Hey, brother, that's leadership. That's vision. That's therapeutic. And that's how it's supposed to be. Let me ask you something, Ms. Murphy, if you're back there. Do you have that flyer for Wednesday that we can pop up for a second? Not sure if you have it loaded, but I just wanted to let everyone know as we're closing out. Oh man, that looks pretty good. Can you take down the little tab? There you go. Hey guys, I have the honor of sharing another platform with Dan, the CEO of Be Epic and co-founder of this Flex AI technology. On Wednesday evening, if you want to take a snapshot, or if the Zoom ID and the passcode is right there. Everyone's got Zoom on their phone or their laptop or their desktop. Just have your Zoom, put in that ID number, put in that passcode at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. That's in 2 days. And you're going to get a deeper dive, excuse me, into the uncommon movement. You'll be able to see it not just from a conversation piece, as tonight you got to get the vision of what it's all about, but really from a more of a presentation perspective of how you can really get involved and help a lot of people and get rich and wealthy in the process. So, invite some guests, all the young men, all the entrepreneurs, get them on this Zoom on Wednesday evening, and we're going to continue to make history. You can be a part of something absolutely great, absolutely phenomenal. So I just wanted to share that, make that big announcement. And we'll be back here, guys, next Monday. This is the first episode of our Uncommon Men podcast. We're going to do many, many more. We're going to continue to bring value to you. And this was absolutely exciting. Dan, I don't know if you have, we're right at our time limit. This has been awesome. Any closing remarks before we close out?
The last thing I want to close on, Clavon, is just let people know we'll be doing this every Monday. And we're going to have most of the time guests on that we feel fit what we would consider uncommon. So I'm not going to take the time to define what we say is uncommon on this podcast, but we're going to have people that are doing amazing things, that are very successful. What we would say is the perfect definition of uncommon. And we're going to get their secrets. We're going to get their clues, and we're going to break down how people could duplicate those things using the amazing AI technology. So we're going to get people that have made, millions, hundreds of millions, in some cases billions of dollars. We're going to find out, what they feel, how it happened, all of these things. And then we're going to take just a couple minutes and give an example of how somebody could break down and duplicate what they did using AI much quicker and easier than what they did. And I kind of look at it like this. I say that AI is the best equalizer that I have ever seen. I used to call the phone when I was, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I call and living in a little tiny trailer, not even what would be a normal single wide trailer. It was smaller than that, Clavon. That's what I lived in as I was building my network marketing empire. I need to go back because it's still there. I need to go do some videos there just to kind of show where it started. Very, very humble beginnings in this industry. But the issue is when people are there, they don't know what they're capable of. They don't know what can happen. The success leaves clues, all of those different types of things. So we're going to basically show how you can break all that down using AI, and build it much faster and easier than what the person could. Because most of the time, that instant success, that overnight success, you never see or hear about the 5 or 10 or 15 years of grind.
Right.
You don't hear about that because nobody knew of them then. Then all of a sudden they pop out of nowhere, and you wonder, what in the world has this person been doing? You never heard about that grind, everything that they were doing. You hear about them after the grind is done.
Right.
And so there's a lot that can be learned from that grind. And what I feel that we can show people how to do is something that took that first person 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I think you can break it down to 1 or 2 years. Especially if you have something that's very leveraged, meaning you have a business that has massive leverage potential. As you saw, if you look at getting if you got 2 people in 2 weeks, 66 weeks is the entire world population. If you got 1 person a month, 40 months is the entire world population. So that geometric progression, that duplication gets massive in a short period of time. So 1 or 2 years, people can be living a life that they don't even recognize, that they never thought was humanly possible. Especially they didn't think it was possible for them. These things only happen to other people. And we want to open up people's minds. We want to give people the freedom and the enjoyment to dream again, to hope again, and to realize that they're just as capable as anybody else. They deserve it just as much as anybody else. And our only goal is to assist them in greatness. They can try and do it on their own. But here's the thing, Clavon. We already know the percent.
That's right.
Almost zero. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If you look at the people that have their health and are making money, and if you're going to talk, that's all different amounts. We don't know what it's different amount to everybody, but we're only talking about residual income. We're not talking about income that you're having to work for every day.
Right.
The reason we're talking about residual income is we want you to control your time. As a human being, last thing I'll say, your two most valuable assets, your health and your time. No matter how much money you have, you can't even buy 1 second.
That's right.
And no matter how much money you have, you can get better health care, but you can't buy your health. So as a human, if I was going to break it down, our two most valuable assets are our health and our time. And everybody almost lets somebody else determine what your time is worth. They determine what your time is worth per hour, and you let them do that. And most of the time, we give up our health just grinding and trying to survive because we never focus on it because we don't have time. We're spending all that time just trying to struggle and make a living. So that's what this is all about. But the one purpose, why would you not want to be involved with a group that has one goal and one purpose, and that's to help you have the mentorship, the system, the guidance to be successful. Period. That's all we want. So if you're a mom and you have a son 16 and up, send them our way. If you're a male 16 and up and you want a better chance of success with mentors that have done billions of dollars in sales, paid out billions of dollars in commissions, those types of things, and along with the latest AI technology, come check this out for yourself. If you have a husband, if you have a brother, if you have a dad, if you have a grandpa, send them our way. Again, why not have a brotherhood that just 100% wants to help every single person, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of anything. We just want to help them live the life that they can be proud of. Period.
Hey guys, our next episode is called Success Leaves Clues. And we're going to have very powerful people on it because that's what's happening. I hope you're full. I hope we added some value to your life tonight. Thank you guys for being a part of history as we're concluding our first podcast episode. So exciting. Thank you, Ms. Murphy, for all your support there in the back office, infrastructure support. Hey, guys, thank you for sharing this time with us. Success leaves clues, guys. Follow us, and we're going to make it happen. So, Dan, this was awesome, buddy. We're going to go ahead and bring this podcast to a close. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, Clavon.